Hi folks, Fuzzy Pixels here, and welcome to a little tech review. Yes, I recently made a purchase from Razer. I got myself a new Stargazer, on which this is being filmed, and they threw in a Razer Nabu X for free as well. I think that comes with orders over £145. So yeah, the Stargazer's quite an expensive piece of kit. There is a review coming for it very, very soon, but today we're actually going to be taking a look at this, the Nabu X Fitness Smartband. Now you can sort of see it. It's very minimalistic, sort of black rubber strap. You can see the old Razer logo there, and yeah, actually, this is the active bit. So it just pops out, and you've got the little charging port back there. It's a very, very minimalistic setup. So it just comes with the strap, and USB charging cable. You can see that just there, and yeah, so you just pop this back into the strap, sort of, I've done this wrong, like so, and then it just affixes to the wrist. You can see you've got a two-pronged strap there, and it just affixes very simply in, like so. And hey presto, it looks quite good on the hand actually. Oh. So when you've got it on and it stays on, it does look quite good on the old wrist. But actually, one of the things about the Nabu X is that within 5 minutes, because it's got this sort of grooved, you might not be able to see it there, but it's got this grooved kind of rubberized texture on the outside. It's sort of grippy. It attracts all sorts of lint and fluff and dust and filth and hair, and very quickly becomes a little bit kind of icky and unsightly. It's also worth noting that the Nabu X is waterproof up to 1 meter, so you know it'll suffice for washing your hands, taking a shower, maybe going pedaling in the sea. Now, in the past, there have been 2 apps you needed for this, the utility app and the fitness app. Now, Razer thankfully have finally combined those into one, and it's actually a relatively straightforward app. It took a little bit of digging to actually find the customization options, but from there, once you've actually got them, you can customize the notifications. There is no screen, just 3 LEDs on the front. It's sort of white light, blue, red, and green, and those can be completely customized to sort of flash in whichever sort of color pattern you like, depending on the nature of your notifications. So if you get a call, you can set it up to flash all of them, and so on and so forth. You can also set a time for your Nabu to wake you up with vibration. Now, it's actually not the most robust feature. I've managed to sleep through it a couple of times now, so that's not quite as good, so you may just want to stick to your general alarm. But I will say this, the vibration sort of notification features on the Nabu do help. I mean, I have a OnePlus 3, and although I love the OnePlus 3, full disclosure, I used to work for the company, its vibration function is not the best. So actually having something that tells me when I've got messages, emails, I'm on social media all the time, and I work in social media management, so it's really helpful to really know, especially when I'm out and about, when I've got stuff coming in like DMs and replies and comments and all that sort of thing. So it is quite helpful in that regard, but then pretty much every single tracking band will do that, and a lot of them don't cost £45. The Nabu X also has trouble with range. Now, my flat is not the biggest by any stretch of the imagination. It's a 2-bedroom flat with a very, very, very small hall, and sort of the bathroom is at sort of the other end of the flat to my master bedroom. So if my phone is in my bedroom and I go for a quick piss, this thing will flash telling me that the Bluetooth connection has been severed and this is no longer connected to my phone. So when I'm away from my phone, I can't get notifications for my phone, which sort of defeats the purpose of this to a certain extent. And that's quite a large problem for me. You really don't have to walk very far. 10 meters is enough to separate band from phone. It might even be sort of like 2/3 of that. It's just not particularly great staying synced. Although, of course, you know, as soon as you're back within the very, very, very small range, it syncs up perfectly. I've never had a problem with it in that regard. But when you're away from your phone, and that's when you kind of want this to work, the chances are that if you stray even remotely too far, you're a little bit screwed. Unfortunately, the Nabu X is also not that great as a fitness or sleep tracker either. I mean, it frequently doubles up the steps it believes that I've taken, burning calories that I'm absolutely not burning, and trust me, if I was exercising I'd tell you. But yeah, this seems a little bit over optimistic on some of those things, and the sleep tracking is really quite shallow. It automatically turns on. I mean, you can turn off the automatic sleep tracking and sort of set it manually when you actually go to bed, but it sort of turns on after 15 minutes of rest, I think, during the day, and 8 minutes at night. Which has led it to believe that I'm falling asleep at my desk when actually I'm working very hard on video editing. In fact, pretty much every day I've had to go into the app and say, no, that I was not sleeping then, go away, delete that data. The data itself is not particularly deep either. It shows you, the times between which you've been sleeping, and it shows you kind of restless activity. So actually this week I've pretty much had 7 hours of sleep each night, and then around 50 to 1 hour 5 of restless activity within that time, which is sort of on the bounds of interesting, but doesn't go far enough to sort of tell me anything about my actual sleep patterns or what can be remedied. Now, I mean, to be honest, that might be asking a little bit too much of the 45 quid fitness band, but I'd certainly expect it to be accurate, and the Nabu X is not. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, this one. I mean, it looks the business at first, and the build quality is nice. It feels good and it looks good on the wrist until you start getting dust all over it. Some of the features to it, some of the customization features to it are really cool. And I like the fact that you can fully customize the LEDs. I mean, there's no screen. You'd expect to be able to customize the LEDs if there's no screen. And it works well in terms of notifications when you're within range. But that range is so restrictive and the fitness elements so unreliable that, I mean, it's sort of difficult to recommend this. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I got it free with a camera, so I don't really care. But if you're actually looking to buy this, if you're looking to spend money on a fitness tracker, I'd do a little bit more research, I'd try out a few if you can, see what feels best. And yeah, depending on what your priorities are, depending on how you expect to use a band like this, I think the Nabu X should probably come with a little bit of a warning, because yeah, you go outside of this very short range, it instantly becomes useless. And if you're looking for something that's going to accurately track the steps you've taken to, try and up your exercise levels, try and, push forward your weekly motivations, whatever that is, this may not be the best one for you. One last thing. So, one of the much touted features of the Nabu range is this ability to swap data if you high five or handshake someone. There's a problem with that. No one has these. No one. I haven't encountered a single person yet. And even when they do, that seems weird to me. I'm not sure that sounds like a drunk feature. It sounds like a feature that someone came up with while they were sat in the office like going, oh god, we need a gimmick. And 6 beers in, they went, dude, what if you could high-five someone to swap your data? Without thinking, well, the hell would you ever really want to do that? Yeah, the Nabu X, ladies and gentlemen, kind of a confusing mess.